Godzilla x Kong, trash or masterpiece? I'm now going to do this on a 5 scale system. So if you get 3 that are trash, it's trash. If you get 3 that are masterpiece, it will be masterpiece. These categories are going to be fight scenes, plot, pacing, script, and CGI. Starting off with, let's say, CGI. The CGI was okay. It wasn't Avatar level, but you weren't expecting it to be Avatar level. It was just the same as the rest of the franchise. You could tell in parts where it was rushed. For example, when they're in Hollow Earth, which is Kong's domain, if you don't remember, they're down in Hollow Earth. There's a lot of wildlife down there. And it's all computer generated because it's imaginary monsters and creatures from Hollow Earth. Some of them were rushed, but the CGI with Godzilla, Kong, Mini Kong, the villains, that was all done well. There was one villain that was kind of like a side villain. It was a Titan that was kind of like fighting Godzilla, and then while Kong fights the other ape, that Titan was a little rushed. It came across as very blocky, as if it was almost mechanical. You could grab its legs and spin it if it was a toy. Other than that, I'd say the CGI, it wasn't trash. So I'm going to give it masterpiece, even though it was just kind of, it wasn't Avatar, but it wasn't trash. So we'll say masterpiece for that. Now, the script, on the other hand, one of the worst scripts that I've seen. There was even parts of the movie where I felt as if I was watching a Netflix show and it was dubbed. The mouths of the people speaking was not matching up with the audio. So I don't know if that was a delay, but I was in one of the best theaters for audio. So I don't think it was just my theater. I think that was actually just a fumble. And the script, I could have gone without listening to any of it, honestly. It was so drug out. It did not seem like the main characters were even enjoying themselves. It was just kind of weird. At points, some of the male characters would randomly be like, "I'm going to kiss you on the mouth," to another male character, which is fine if that's the context of it, but there was no context. It was just, it felt as if people just put in a bunch of one-liners trying to get laughs out of the crowd for audience to like it, and it did not go well. No one in my theater laughed once. There was nothing pulled on your heartstrings. It was fucking trash. Plain and simple. Now the fight scenes were not great, dude. You go to a Godzilla movie or you go to a King Kong movie to see giant monsters beat the shit out of each other. And you probably had 20 minutes of fight scenes in this movie. This movie was an hour and 55 minutes for reference. So not even a fifth of the movie were the giant characters beating the shit out of each other. It was just so much of that bullshit script setting up and the plot, which we'll get to in a second, but you didn't get what you paid for. And because of that, I'm going to say it's trash. There were moments that you really liked the fight scene, but it was only the last fight. All the other fights were just kind of shit. They lasted 2 minutes. Not great. So we've got 2 for trash, and then the CGI, we'll say masterpiece. So the pacing also a masterpiece. I liked how they split it up. Even though the dialogue and the script was choppy, they couldn't have done the pacing better. The infight wasn't rushed. It wasn't rushed like some of the other movies I've talked about in the past. It flowed well. You had the conflict. Everything was, it was good. Because of that, I'll give it masterpiece, because that's a pretty straightforward thing. You either get the pacing or you don't get the pacing. And they did well with the pacing. Now, the decider is the plot. And I hate to break it to you, but this is going to be the first movie on this channel that was a trash movie. The plot was trash. It sucked. It wasn't engaging. There's a lot of times I was bored. I wasn't so bored I wanted to walk out of the theater, but I was not having a great time. I was kind of just waiting again for giant monsters to beat the shit out of each other. I didn't care about the main character, and she had a conflict with thinking that her daughter didn't want to be with her anymore, and her daughter wasn't getting along in Americanized society because her daughter is from a tribe that's all died. I didn't give a shit. I just wanted to watch two giant creatures beat each other up. I didn't care that some guy had a podcast and wanted to go to Hollow Earth to film for his podcast. I didn't give a shit. Like it wasn't engaging. Even the main thing of, oh, the little girl can sense that there's problems and Kong has to fight this other ape because this other ape wants to take over the world. It's just like, why? I didn't care. And so for that reason, Godzilla X Kong is trash. My recommendations for you to make it not trash: get yourself a 6-pack of beer, get you a bunch of your buddies, drink the 6-pack of beer, and then maybe drink another beer while you watch the movie and eat some popcorn. Then you'll be able to enjoy it because you can kind of just zone off and talk to people you're with through all the boring shit. And then when that 20 good minutes show up with the monsters fighting, you can enjoy the movie. See you guys next time.